Hi, welcome viewers. My name is Tito Mbariti. I'm a solicitor here at Cross Border Legal Solicitors. If you hold a work visa, spouse's visa, or any further leave to remain visa in the UK, then this video is for you. As the government is indicated that is moving forward, it plans to move forward with the planned and settlement scheme, which will mean a significant change. It's not just a small fine-tune, but a fundamental ripping off of the traditional 5-year settlement in the UK that people have enjoyed for a long time. In this video, I intend to explain, first of all, what's indefinite leave to remain, what are the advantages of indefinite leave to remain, what the political debates has been, and what the government proposing to implement, and finally what you can do as a person to avoid or to cushion yourself against these changes. So what is indefinite leave to remain? Indefinite leave to remain is a term coiled from the Immigration Act. It basically means you have permission to stay in the UK unrestricted for a period, unrestricted within reason for an unlimited period of time. It marks the end of you having to apply for visas, having to pay for immigration health surcharge, and it also marks an important steps towards qualifying to become a British citizen. Indefinite leave to remain by itself has got a lot of advantages, even if you don't proceed to become a British citizen. It means, for example, you would be allowed to leave the UK and stay up to a period of not more than 2 years abroad, or 5 years if you are EU national. It also means that, for example, access loans on a cheaper rate, for example, for mortgages, which is important for migrants who are settling in the UK. It means that you can be able to access education at the local residence fee as a student, which is significantly lower than international students have to pay. It also means, for example, children who are born here in the UK your children who are born here in the UK would be automatically British citizens, and the children who have been born abroad who are here with you would be eligible to apply for indefinite leave to remain, or even register to become British citizen once you've got indefinite leave to remain. So it's a very important step towards a migrant's journey, and this is what is at risk with the new proposal. How we got here? So this is really has been I think it's a trend that's going around the world, but last year in 2025 in the party there seemed to be party competitions of what's going on in terms of immigration, trying to prove who's more stronger in terms of immigration and their policies, with the government proposing that only workers, British citizens, partners and spouses would be, and business people would be eligible to apply for indefinite leave to remain, with no mention of what would happen, for example, to refugees. Obviously, they made that changes about refugee having different category in terms of, before they used to get 5 years, now they get 2.5, which is reviewed. But what has then happened is UKIP, or rather Reform, which is now a very left-wing party, came up with a proposal that they want to control immigration, and they are going to go out of the way and go more of a Middle East type of immigration, where they abolish the whole of indefinite leave to remain altogether, so that nobody ever qualifies for indefinite leave to remain. All you can get is repeated applications for visas. And this is what the Reform announced. It announced in, I think it was in September 2025, they announced to abolish ILR altogether. And then the government made a consultation paper, which concluded, I think, around March time, with regards to consulting the general public as to their proposals of what they would want to implement, to be seen implemented. And we are currently waiting for that proposal to see what the government has decided as a result of that proposal. What are the government proposal, or what are the proposals that we're looking? Well, we do know the proposal because they consulted. They had after the white paper that was published, what they called a fairer settlement. The government proposed several drafts of changes, and among this was they want to change the current 5 years continuous residence qualification for indefinite leave to remain that applies to most visas, including spouses visa, work visas, a majority of work visas. Now, they also wanted to change the English requirement. This has already been implemented. Actually, they have already indicated that they want to go from B1 to B2. That's starting next year, I think early next year in 2027. One of the biggest proposals in the immigration white paper is something called the earned settlement pathway. Now, instead of everyone qualifying for settlement after 5 years, as currently is, the government is proposing a different routes depending on your job, salary, and contribution to the UK. Let's look at this chart together. Now, starting from the left, we have the fast track route. Under these proposals, high earners, people earning over £125,000 a year, could qualify for settlement after just 3 years. This is the quickest route and is aimed at very highly paid professionals. For example, jobs that could fall under these categories include consultant doctors and senior medical specialists with very high salaries. Moving to the middle, we have the standard 5-year route. Under this route, there is 2 ways to qualify. First, if you work for public service, for example, NHS, as a teacher, police officer, or member of the armed forces, you could be able to settle after 5 years. It's not clear who would be classed as a member fall under this category, but we can make an educated guess that it will include NHS workers such as nurses. Second, if you have a degree level job or earn at least 50,000 or more, you could also qualify. This would include software engineers, accountants, senior managers who could meet these salaries. Now, let's move to the blue sections. This represents what the government says will become the new baseline. People with degree level jobs earning below 50,270 will have to wait for 10 years before becoming settled and getting indefinite leave to remain. This would include categories such as junior software developers, marketing executive, laboratory technicians, graduate engineers earning below the income threshold of 50,000. Finally, the red section represents the longest route. Those working in jobs below degree level will face 15 years journey to settlement regardless of how much they earn. For example, of jobs that may fall under this category include carers, warehouse operatives, drivers, delivery drivers, hospital staff, who would qualify under 15 years. At the bottom of the chart, there is also the requirements about that everyone has to meet. This will include first would be the higher English language of B2, which I've just discussed, is coming in next year. Second, you would be a minimum earning floor of 12,570. Now, before anyone starts panicking, now these are proposals and they are contained in the immigration white papers. They're not yet law. Further details and legislations are needed, and some of the proposals may change, especially following the consultation that concluded in March. Now, the biggest bone of contention, which has caused a lot of chaos and a lot of people have reason against it, is the unfairness of this rule if they were to be applied retrospectively. So the biggest lobby that's going on right now is that this rule should not apply retrospectively. Otherwise, it amounts to shifting the goalposts for people who are already here. I guess the question is, what can we do? So this is proposal we are suspecting. I can only make an educated guess as to what the government is going to do. There's lots of things changing. There seems to be changing of leadership, contest going on. But we suspect the government promised to make these changes in autumn. So starting November, October time, you should be expecting these changes. So what can you do? What can you do now? Well, if you qualify for indefinite leave to remain, do it now. Don't wait. If you qualify, for example, to apply for British citizenship, do it now. Don't wait, because the rules keep on changing harder. And if you can shift along so that these rules don't apply to you, then you'll be in a better position. Lots of people who are here, especially carers who've come recently, they come from Commonwealth countries. You have a right to vote. Write to your MP. Make it known that you are objections, especially to the whole retrospective application of the law, which is not really fair to move the goalposts for people. Now, we are asking people to write to the MP, and so that when this thing goes to Parliament, there should be more opposition. We suspect that a lot of these things may be perhaps watered down, and we are hoping that's going to be watered down, but at the very least we are hoping that it doesn't apply retrospectively to people who are already here, because otherwise that would be very unfair for people who came here with a proper journey as to their migrant journey here. Anyway, I thought I'd raise this issue to you. If you have any questions about this, just give us a call. We have written an article about this. But here at Cross Border Legal, we're all about people and their journey, their migrant journey. Give us a call and we should be able to assist you if you have an immigration question or a query that you need assistance with. Thank you.